After months and in many cases years of imprisonment, opponents of President Nicolas Maduro were reunited with loved ones after receiving an unexpected pardon. Lawyer Enrique Nerio, who had had a stroke in jail, thanked the government for letting him be reunited with his family, while Antonia Turbay argued she'd been unjustly imprisoned.
I told them until I was blue in the face that I had nothing to do with what they accused me of, that my only crime was being the neighbour of someone of interest.
Pardons before elections aren't new, but the magnitude of these were. They included scores of prominent government foes like Roberto Marrero, opposition leader Juan Guaido's chief of staff, Freddy Guevara, who's been in the Chilean embassy for nearly 2 years, Miguel Pizarro, Gilbert Caro, all political prisoners or opposition deputies in hiding or in exile, all of them accused of treason and more. As a warm-up to the pardons, Venezuela's most emblematic political prisoner, Juan Requesens, was released late Friday and put under house arrest, still accused of plotting to kill President Nicolas Maduro, which he denies. The list of pardons is long, but excludes opposition leader Juan Guaido and Leopoldo López, both of whom Maduro has vowed to put behind bars for alleged crimes against the state. The government's strategy is obvious.
Maduro's number one objective is to gain legitimacy for December's parliamentary elections. It's essential. Even his Russian and Chinese allies are demanding some sort of recognition of the polls. So for that to happen, there has to be participation in the elections from at least part of the internationally recognized opposition.
Felix Cejas says the pardons may be just a first major step. Another concession could be to allow major parties and candidates barred from taking part in elections to run after all. That could include twice presidential candidate Enrique Capriles, who believes that boycotting the poll would be even worse than competing in an uneven playing field. Juan Guaido, who's recognized by more than 50 countries as Venezuela's interim president, has given opposition parties until the end of the week to publicly join him in a united front to boycott an election that is widely considered uncompetitive. Not to be outdone, the government has extended the period for registering candidates until Friday. Venezuelans are waiting to see what more concessions Maduro may be willing to make to try to salvage an election that he may win at the polls, but not in legitimacy unless his foes take part. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera.
Sonia Schott is a Venezuelan political analyst from Washington, D.C. Now, she says that President Maduro is trying to make the upcoming elections appear legitimate in the eyes of the international community.
Maduro is trying to win some legitimacy, not just only in Venezuela, but outside Venezuela. But this is not going to work. Most of the opposition leaders under the umbrella of Juan Guaido, they agree not to participate in the election. But we have some other leaders like Enrique Capriles Radonsky, who was maybe willing to participate, to give Maduro the chance and then to participate in these elections. But Guaido, among other leaders, they consider this is not going to go anywhere since these elections are not going to be transparent. Maduro is trying to gain legitimacy in the country, in Venezuela, and outside. And because, you know, there are almost 60 countries that are backing or supporting Juan Guaido. And he's trying to gain legitimacy because Venezuela is having a difficult time under the sanctions imposed by the U.S. And actually, U.S. is calling other countries, the international community, to put more pressure on the Maduro regime.